From the GNR Lies release that is 1 in a Million, and of course that got Raxl Rose and Guns N' Roses labeled as racist, man, because they used the word nigger in their song.
Hey, language.
I said they used the word nigger in their song.
Dude, come on. The N-word, please.
No, I don't play that politically correct game.
Stop talking about our president like that.
That never entered into the conversation.
Yeah, but you're thinking it now.
Well, who isn't after that blatant display from you?
Well, fuck that motherfucker, man.
Right. He's listening right now as we speak.
Well, that's what I hear. So, you know what, Mr. Obama? Eat a dick, fuckface.
Right. Well, anyway, I was reading another story this week.
Okay.
That apparently some of the pre-Guns N' Roses Raxl Rose band called Rapid Fire from 1983 has surfaced.
Okay.
Don't know where it came from, what the origin it is, but they apparently made 5 song demos with this band called Rapid Fire.
Well, is it a Priest cover band?
No, I don't think so, but maybe they did take the name from Priest. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But somebody decided that they were going to take those demos and post them out there online for everyone to enjoy. Because, they're so sought after. Everybody's thinking, man, when is Rapid Fire going to have a reunion?
Well, for all we know, those guys in Rapid Fire might be the new guys in Guns N' Roses. We don't know.
That's true. But anyway, here goes the story. Raxl Rose, of course, 30-some years removed from this.
Yeah.
30 years removed from this. Mm-hmm. Takes issue with the fact that somebody put those out there.
Why?
Because, I don't know. The 1983 demo by Raxl Rose pre-Guns N' Roses band, Rapid Fire, that turned up online last week have been pulled from the web due to copyright claim filed by Raxl's lawyer.
Oh, brother.
Copyright
Claim from a fucking local band from 1983 that hasn't existed in 35 years.
Well, to be honest with you, even as much of a musicologist that I am, wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah, I somehow missed Rapid Fire.
Me too. The snippet of the demo of the band's recording on Ready to Rumble that was posted on YouTube is no longer playable.
Oh, no.
Instead, it has a note that says, this video is no longer available due to copyright claim by Mark Music and Media Law PC.
Oh, brother.
Whenever there's unauthorized Raxl Rose or Guns N' Roses audio, video, or merchandise, we take aggressive efforts to have it removed from the marketplace.
Stupid.
Doug Mark of Mark Music and Media Law tells Yahoo Music,
yes,
now it appears that Rapid Fire will be guaranteed to be a minor footnote in the Guns N' Roses story.
So?
Okay. While the band won a Battle of the Bands contest at the late heavy metal haven Gazaris, they never secured a record deal.
Okay, no kidding.
Raxl soon left the group to form Guns N' Roses' forerunner, Hollywood Rose, with childhood friend Izzy Stradlin, but we couldn't help but wonder what the A&R executive who signed the Guns N' Roses to Geffen Records thought of the track, so we tracked down Tom Zutaut.
Okay.
After directing Zutaut to the link when it was still playable, he said, it sounds very 70s classic rock influence like Tesla was in the 80s with a touch of Quiet Riot and a serious bent as opposed to the party sound of hair metal.
Okay.
The record executive, who also worked with such bands as Tesla, the Stone Roses, and Motley Crue, added, it's interesting that there's no punk influence like GNR at all, but the voice is a great preview of Raxl's extraordinary talent.
Okay.
That punk influence that Zootat speaks of came primarily from Guns N' Roses' Duff McKagan, who played drums in Seattle punk band The Fastbacks and The Fats.
Right.
Prior to moving to L.A. and joining future Guns N' Roses bandmates Slash and Steven Adler in their pre-Guns combo Road Crew.
Road Crew?
That was the name of their band, apparently.
Yeah, and then Adler picked it up again later with Davey Vane. I saw that band out in 90 or 91 out at the Omni.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Road Crew.
All right. GNR later put the punk influence on full display on the 1993 album The Spaghetti Incident, which featured the band's take on The Damned's New Rose, The Stooges, Raw Power, Fears, I Don't Care About You, and other punk-era gems.
Okay.
As of Monday, prior to the filing of the copyright claim, the folks behind the release of the Rapid Fire demo were still hinting that there could be an official release of the 5-track demo.
Are you kidding?
Over 72,000 hits. Keep them coming so we know there is enough interest to release, they posted on the Rapid Fire 1983 Facebook page.
Right.
So apparently whoever has these recordings, they're going to put them out there.
Yeah, well, it's probably somebody in the band, whoever was the guy that formed Rapid Fire.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Raxl and the current GNR lineup roll on with an intimate gig at the Brooklyn Bowl before hitting the Governor's Ball Festival on Saturday in Randall's Island, New York. I guess that's tonight.
Okay.
So, fortunately, I have 51 seconds of this rapid fire.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my God. Let's play it.
So, Raxl, if you're listening,
sue us.
Send your Mark Sky to cease and desist.
Yes.
So this is rapid fire, 51 seconds worth of Ready to Rumble.
All right.
So let's check this out. So there you are.
That was 51 seconds?
Come on, are you ready? Where do you want to go? To the Rumble! Come on, are you ready? We're ready! Then come on now, let's go!
There you are.
Stunning. I'll just say this. I understand now why Raxl doesn't want this out there.
Well, it's a demo.
It's fucking garbage.
Well, he's not as raspy, obviously. He sings a little more, a little more baritone.
Sure.
He doesn't have that. But I'll tell you what, listening to that demo,
yeah,
sounds a lot like Randy and the Detroit Buds.
Dude, come on, play some Roller Coaster, man.
Roller coaster, roll, roll,
roller coaster.
Nice.
Come on, you got to play some roller
Let me
coaster.
pull it up. Come
on, dude, you got to share that with the fans. Make an obscure reference like that.
Well, how about Just a Game?
No. It's got to be Roller Coaster,
all right,
man. Because that's the one he does the Raxl voice in.
Right. Is it just Randy Trask?
Or it probably is.
Here it is. I got it. Where is it here? Been so long. Rock and Roll Heaven. Just a Game. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Here's Raxl Trask.
You have an ID, too.
Oh, that's right. I do, don't I?
Come on, dude. Do this out.
It's been so long, you have to remind me about all the stuff that went along with this.
This is Randy Raxl Trask.
Nice.
Rockin Randy Trask.
Let me see
Love Randy to tears, man. And I know you do, too.
Of course.
This project was so bad.
I know.
And he's still doing it.
Yeah, he is.
I talked to him in the last month, and he's still out there doing the Detroit Buds.
I know. He's got a 4th of July show up at the Cove.
Dude, I might have to go see him.
He's got a 4th of July gig up there. I don't know if I can find the ID, though. No, I don't have the ID handy.
Oh, dude, this is depressing.
I know.
All right, play me some Roller Coaster. That's fucking the shit.
All right, here we go.
Hey!
My life's a roller coaster, getting nearlier every day. My life's a roller coaster, getting nearlier every day. I gotta roll, rock and roll, gonna do it till my dying day. I got a sweet little woman, yes, she looks so fine. Got a sweet little woman, yes, she looks so fine. But that woman's messing round on me, got me going out of my mind, yeah. My life's a roller coaster, getting nearlier every day. My life's a roller coaster, getting nearlier every day, yeah. I gotta roll, rock and roll, gonna do it till my dying day.
Yeah, Joe Solo.
All right, there you go.
All right, now you got me wanting to hear some more. Let's go with just a game. Come on. Let's share with the fans the fucking greatness that wants to be on this show.
Okay.
Come on, man. What other songs you got?
Well,
Rock and Roll Heaven, too? Oh, we got to share them all.
Oh, yeah, I got Rock and Roll Heaven, Been So Long, Too Late for GBs. Is that Too Late for GBs?
For goodbyes.
Oh, for goodbyes. Okay.
Yeah, give him a little bit of just a game.
All right. You're loving this. All right, here's Randy Raxl Trask.
Rockin Randy Trask.
Just a game.
Don't you know it's a game? Just to think how life we play. Can't you hear us sing a word? Then I say, don't you know it's a game? Just to think how life we play. Can't you hear us sing a word? Then I say, whoa! You know I get 'em and I get 'em out of bed every day. So hard to pay my own bills, wait for what, man, I don't get paid. I'm tired of busting my ass and trying to live a dream. I don't you know what I mean?
That's the goods.
Yeah, he definitely put the Axl scream in that one.
I love this disc. We've never brought this to the table either, have we?
Well, we've played snippets before.
Right. Holy shit.
One.
Go ahead with Rock and Roll Heaven. Dude, might as well play a little bit of everything since the fans are so into it.
Look at Rosita. Good God, he's worse than that killer clown in Long Beach.
Come on, give him some Rock and Roll Heaven. Maybe Rosita's just not hearing the good stuff.
All right.
Bring out the big hit.
If anybody would know, it would be Rosita. He's out there in the middle of it.
That's right.
All right. Here. Welcome to the jungle. We've got lots of cake. All right, here's Rock and Roll Heaven.
All right.
Feeling crazy, football, hazy. Faster, faster, it's time for rock and roll. Faster, 'cause I know where I'm going when I go. So let's not wait around. Let's get going to the show and take me back to rock and roll heaven. 'Cause I'm most in the place when I'm in Detroit. You know I never had a pity, like a rolling in the Moana City. Never had a better time making noise. Stand the man, the master plan. It's time for rockin' roll again.
Stan the man with the reference.
Did he say Stan the man with the master plan?
He most certainly did.
Oh my God. That's the first time I ever heard that.
That is so inside. It isn't even funny. But fucking A, that is fucking great.
Stan the man with the master plan.
Stan the man with the master plan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Randy.
Holy smokes.
Dude, did I ever tell you that story how he ran his phone bill up over $500 just talking to this dude?
No. Tell that. And while you're doing that, look on the hard drive for the Chris Aiken CD and find that Poison thing. We got to play. Since we're bagging on Randy, let's go all the way.
Right. So, back in...
Hold on. Before you tell this story, let's set up a little bit of backstory since people are probably wondering who the fuck this guy is.
Okay.
And why we're playing this. Rockin Randy Trask was Chris Aiken at one point.
Yeah, he had the co-host slot on the Classic Metal Show.
Yes.
For a very brief period.
For about 6 months?
It was really hit and miss because he was really into the weed.
That's right. It almost got you fired. But Randy actually was a member of the Classic Metal Show.
He was actually my very first. Well, I should say he was my very first co-host.
And I don't want anybody to mistake this. We love Randy.
Randy is not somebody that we dislike at all. Randy's got. He is so ingrained in wanting to be a part of the rock and roll business that even to this day, he's still doing it. And God bless him for that. But let's just put it this way. It just hasn't been, it isn't, it's not for lack of trying. It's just that he just doesn't have the wherewithal to just, break out.
No, Randy, but in fairness to Randy, that fucking guy, for as bad as that recording is, that fucking guy does Axl Rose like no one's business.
He was part of a GNR tribute band back in 2001, I think it was. There was a tour that actually went across the country, and they played some sheds.
Yeah, Fake Fest.
It was called Fake Fest, and our good friend Ralph Saines was first debuting. Oh, actually, it was the Atomic Punks.
Right, that was long before he joined Steel Panther or Metal Shop.
Metal Shop. He's just started doing the Metal Shop, but he was doing both.
Right.
Where he was doing the Atomic Punks and Metal. It was Metal Shop at the time.
Yeah, it was Metal Shop, and then it became Metal School, and then it became Steel Panther.
Right. So anyway,
Ninja Kitty And Danger Kitty.
Oh, yeah, Danger Kitty. That was actually on that, what was that, Discover card?
Yeah, the Discover card. Dude, I remember Ralph's whole career, man. That's why it was like so fun to actually run into his ass as Steel Panther and just throw that shit back at him and see that, at least let him know that somebody remembers all his shit.
It was really funny. Back in late 90s or the very, very early 2000s, Ralph's band, which became Metal Shop.
Yeah.
They were calling themselves Danger Kitty, and they actually were on I think it was a Visa or Discover card commercial.
Yeah, it was I remember it, it's like if you're not heavy metal enough for this, then you should have the Discover card.
Well, what it was that they portrayed a band from the 80s and they spent up all their money.
Right, exactly.
And they were working at like a hot dog stand now because they didn't have any money.
Right.
And I think it was something about, not having the greatest of credit or something, and you could get a Discover card or something, but they called it Danger Kitty.
Right.
It was just really funny, but it was a national commercial on TV, which was really funny.
What's funny is most people don't realize it, but that is what launched Steel Panther.
It is. It is.
Yep.
So anyway, there was a thing that went around, and they played the Sheds. They played at Tower City Amphitheater.
Right.
And they played at whatever they were calling it at the time down in Pittsburgh. What's that amphitheater outside of Pittsburgh?
Was that called Pine Knob or is that Detroit?
No, that's Detroit. This one, they called it the Chevrolet Center at the time, but then they call it the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Pavilion.
I call it the Please Blow It Up When It's Full Pavilion.
But it was the size of Blossom.
Yeah.
Or
big room.
Yeah.
Place.
And then they played like St. Louis and Cincinnati, and they played big places, and it was they had like Guns N' Roses tribute, which is Randy's band.
Right, Paradise City.
They actually landed on that bill. Ralph was on there with Atomic Punks.
Sure.
There was a tribute to the Beatles, which these guys did the whole Sgt. Pepper thing. They had the uniforms and the the backdrops and the whole thing, and
sure.
There was a Pink Floyd cover band, and there was an AC/DC cover band or tribute band rather, and
Nirvana.
It was really an amazing show. It was these guys who really did these bands true to form.
It was like the best of those, and Randy was one of them.
Yeah, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, but which is stunning because he's so bad as a solo.
Yeah, Jackal's got it right. Starlake
Amphitheater. Yeah.
So. I went to a few of the shows. I knew Ralph back then, and I went with them on a couple of the shows, and Randy was out there performing, and he was just so hell-bent on wearing a Classic Metal Show shirt out there on the stage. It was really funny.
It's great.
And Ralph didn't have a leather motorcycle jacket, and he wore my motorcycle jacket, my black leather out on stage.
I remember that,
It was really funny. So everybody's like, hey, give me your shirt. Give me your jacket. In fact, that's kind of funny because, I always wear those Ray-Bans.
Right.
And that same thing with Dawn. Give me your sunglasses. It's just like, here, take your clothes off. I want to wear your shit on stage.
Yeah.
It's just like funny. So anyway, long story short, Randy did an awesome job doing the Axl Rose thing.
He really did.
And I won't take that away from him. But he did do a couple of original bands,
and they all sucked.
They were not good. Wicked Heart was his was his baby.
Wicked Heart was awful.
And the money that kid, and I call him a kid because he's about 10 years younger than me,
right?
The money he spent his paycheck, and he had a good job at one point.
Yeah, he did.
And he spent his paycheck on that band,
constantly.
Just buying the props and buying this and buying onto, to open for different people. In fact, back in 1999 when Poison came back and C.C. DeVille was at the point where he wasn't sure if he wanted to be a full-time member of Poison.
Right.
He was out there promoting that, what he called at the time, the Stepmothers, but changed it to Samantha 7.
Right.
Randy paid, get this, he paid $3,000
Right.
To open up for CC DeVille at Harpo's in Detroit. $3,000.
Oh, my God. All right, dude, since we're telling Randy stories, you want me to tell a funny Randy story?
Sure, why not?
So you remember at one point, Randy had this personal assistant.
Oh, yeah, Bree.
Bree or Bryn or whatever.
Bryn, that was it.
Bryn. So Randy was playing a show, and Bryn was useless as fuck.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Speaking, and I'll let you get back to your story.
Right, it's fine.
Getting back to what we were just talking about spending money.
Yeah.
After the Poison got back together, he was so enamored with Bret Michaels.
Right.
That he thought he should have a personal assistant.
That's right.
and Randy hired some girl who was worthless as tits on a boar hog.
But hot.
Dude, I'm not...
I think Bryn was hot? I thought Bryn was pretty hot.
I don't think so. But anyway, regardless of my personal thoughts. But
all right.
He hired this girl and paid her to be his personal assistant.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, I thought Bryn was hot, and that will lead to this story. So he was playing some gig at Ron's Crossroads, which was a club in Akron, Ohio, that is no longer in existence. And Randy, so he introduces me to Bryn, and you know how Randy was with me. He thought that I was fucking as close to God as it could.
Oh, yeah, because you were connected, man.
Yeah, because I had connections to, like, Bret Michaels and Motley Crue and, you know, his bands that he was into. So we went back at one point, and he's like, hey, come back in the back. You know, I want to talk to you about the show. So I'm in the back, and I'm talking to Randy about the show, and he fucking says to Bryn, he says, Bryn, take off your skirt. I was like, what? And so Bryn takes off her skirt.
And this girl was married, mind you.
And she's just wearing a thong or whatever, right?
Right.
And then he goes, that's not good enough. Bryn, take off your shirt. So next thing I know, Bryn is wearing nothing but a thong, and we're just all sitting there. There's like no reason.
Yeah, for her to be just standing there with no clothes on.
There was no reason at all. She's just standing there, and I'm like, okay, Randy, what am I supposed to do here? He's like, I just wanted you to see, dude, because you've earned that with your reputation.
You've earned that?
I've earned that with my reputation.
Oh, my God. You know, in all these years, this is the first time I've ever heard this.
This is what I've never shared, but... So all she was wearing, she had and you probably remember this, she had a white cowboy hat.
Yes, she always wore the cowboy hat.
She was wearing this white cowboy hat and a purple thong, and that was it.
Okay. And like I said, she was married.
Yeah. She was married.
Yeah. Wow, that's nutty.
I mean, it was so fucking stupid. Well, and
go ahead.
And I was like, okay, Randy, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
And he had no, he didn't know where I was supposed to, he didn't even have a plan.
Yeah, he just thought it'd be cool because, look, I have a girl that I can make her get naked when I tell her to.
Yeah, and it was really like, what am I supposed to do here? And he had no idea.
Right.
None. He just thought that would make me happy.
Sure.
And I won't lie, it did.
It's like, look, a naked chick.
I was like, okay, that's cool. Now what? And literally at some point I was like, why don't you get dressed, Brandon? Let's go get some beers.
Right.
Because I didn't know what, at the time I was married. I wasn't going to fuck her or nothing. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay. And you go, all right.
I was like, all right, there they are.
Okay.
There's your ass. I see it. Now what?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you my Bryn story.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, Randy had a tendency not to show up at the show, at the start of the show. He would just kind of waltz in when he was the co-host.
Right.
So I wasn't home at the time. And this is when the Classic Metal Show was on an FM station.
Right, sure.
And I had to go to the studio to do this thing, and I wasn't home. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I get this voicemail on my answering machine at home.
Okay.
Hi, this is Bryn, Randy's personal assistant. I'm just letting you know that Randy is going to be a little late to the show. He's been out all afternoon, and he's kind of tired, so he's going to go home to take a nap. And he just wanted for me to call you and let you know that he will be at the show, and that you should expect him to arrive about 9:30.
Holy shit.
So when he got to the station, which was, fine.
Yeah.
I said, dude, if our friendship comes down to a point to where you have to have someone call me on your behalf,
right.
I said, you can just forget being my co-host anymore.
Holy shit, really?
I did.
You were mad? You were mad about
it? I just thought it was so ridiculous and so contrived. It was just like, you need this girl to call me to tell me the great Randy Trask, will be arriving late.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. She was just doing her job. I said, dude, if you need something, you call me direct. You don't send your hired help. Like you're just too important to call me.
Right.
I just thought that was the most ridiculous thing.
Too funny.
Yeah. So that was about as much contact as I ever had with her.
Bryn was something other. She was on something totally different, dude.
Yeah. She was a bleach bottle blonde, natural brunette, but bleach bottle blonde.
You didn't find Bryn hot?
No, not really. I just found her more annoying than anything else.
So because she was annoying? Because she was hot, dude.
See, I can't get past the annoying personality.
See, I could.
See, I can't.
I didn't even want to talk to Bryn. I just wanted to fucking look at her naked.
Ugh. Well, regardless.
Do you have the clip of him with the poison?
I'm looking for it. Did you say it's on the hard drive?
Should be. It should be under Chris Aiken.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I have that.
If you look, there's like a Chris Aiken folder, I think.
Okay.
And in there somewhere should be Rockin Randy Trask.
All right.
Is our phone number 800-497-5891?
800-497-5891. And yes, I got the Chris Aiken clip.
Okay. Give that a spin. Now, look, should I set it up?
Sure, go right ahead.
All right. So at one point we had this interview set up with Bret Michaels for Power to the People, the fucking really shitty Poison album. And for whatever reason, I don't even remember, but at the last second, I couldn't do the interview. So Randy was, a Poison dick. He was all about Poison. So I asked Randy if he wanted to do the interview, and Randy was like, yeah, sure, that would be fucking great. And I mean, it was totally last minute that I couldn't get out of work or whatever. Randy calls off work to do this interview.
Yeah, and he had a factory job.
Yeah, but it was still a good factory job. It wasn't one of those where you make $8 an hour. He was making like $25 an hour.
Yeah, it was good money.
He was making serious cake for him. And Randy blew off his job to come and do this interview with Bret Michaels. And then the publicist just wouldn't let him do the interview. Right. And you can just hear how deflated he is when he can't get on the phone with Bret Michaels.
Sure. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Neeley and Aiken? Hey, Aiken, it's John, man.
Hey, what's up, brother?
I was just calling about the same thing you were just talking about. You have to play that at some point.
The clip?
Yeah, you've got to do that. It's like, oh, yeah, I've heard the record. Like, I don't have it, but you have to play that at some point.
Well, I got it queued up, John, so never fear.
Stay on the phone for a minute, John. We'll play it right now.
Rock, guys. I meant Hail and Kill. Fuck you, pal. There
you go. Here's Randy Trask, MBL writer, every 80s metal band groupie. wannabe rock star. In fact, we call him the rock star. Now, Randy was filling in for me on an interview with Bret Michaels from Poison, or so he thought. Unfortunately, I forgot to call the publicist and say, hey, there's been a change in who's doing the interview. The funny thing here is when Randy gets on the line with this publicist, he's so amped to interview Bret Michaels that he just goes out of his way to tell her anything he can to get the interview done once she figures out that it's not me on the phone. Check it out. It's pretty funny. Here's Randy trying to lie to a publicist to get a Poison interview.
I'm here for Chris. You calling for Bret?
Yes.
I'm the guy then.
Oh, okay. I thought Chris was going to be doing the interview.
He had to work, so he handed it over to me. But
okay, and may I ask your name?
My name's Randy.
And what's your last name?
Randy Trask.
Okay. And do you have the materials that I had forwarded to Chris?
I don't believe, no, he didn't give me anything. I've heard Crack a Smile. Georgetta, did Chris have anything to give to me as far as...
So your wife let him in the house?
Yeah, well, my wife loved Randy.
Really?
Oh, yeah, she loved her. Dude, Randy used to come by here and bring donuts for my kids. Randy was like their uncle.
Really?
Oh, yeah, Randy had good vibes here at the Aiken home.
She hated me but liked Randy.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you know, you're a dick. And Randy wasn't, just because he was a pothead, you know, whatever.
So funny. All right. So now he doesn't have the material. Hey, Georgetta, did Chris leave something around?
Stuff that was sent to him? Poison stuff? I don't believe. But I know what's going on as far as the tour, and I'm updated on all the Poison stuff. And
well, have you heard the new record that I sent Chris?
No, but I'm on the classic metal show every Saturday night, and I was gonna probably get a copy of it off. I've heard Crack a Smile, but I haven't heard the new record because. But
the interview is about the June record, not about Crack a Smile. So, did you get the press release about the June record and all the information about it?
No, I didn't.
No. Then we're going to have to postpone the interview because I need for you to have that information before you do the mail.
I'm wondering if this is it here.
What?
I see a package here, but it's made out to him, so I didn't want to open it.
Who's it from?
It's for Virgin Records.
Well, but Poison's not on Virgin
Records. Right, they're on theirs.
Wow. Here's a package. I didn't want to open it. It's addressed to him. I think this might be it.
This might be it. It's the package on the desk.
Yeah, here it is. It's right here.
Oh, here it is.
Who's it from?
Virgin Records.
Nice.
Yeah, and I FedExed the package last week.
Right, and I know he has the CD because he was going to bring it down to the radio show.
Yeah, but the thing is that the information that I had provided plus the record, the reason I FedExed it to him was so that he could listen to it and read the information before he did the phoner with Bret, as opposed to having no information and doing the phoner with Bret.
I understand.
Well, so it doesn't really work out for us for you not to have those materials.
Well,
because it's so important.
Yeah, it was 5 90-second clips.
Right.
Of fucking shitty songs.
Right. It's important you have that because Bret's important and you should know the material.
It was 5 90-second clips.
I pretty much know everything that's going on with Bret as far as.
You haven't heard the new music and you haven't read the press release with the information about it.
Right, you'd rather have me hear the new music and read the press release.
So that's why I FedExed the package last week.
Could I give you a number to contact Chris at work right now? You could get a hold of him and confirm everything, and he'd let you know that I know everything that's going on.
Well, yeah, but I don't doubt that. But the bottom line is, inasmuch as that is a factual statement, you are also lacking having heard the record and the information that I provided regarding the record.
Right, and
so that is the reason for doing the interview. Without you having that information, it doesn't behoove us to do the interview.
Wow, she's dressing him down.
She's a cunt. Holy cow, is she a cunt?
Wow, she is just dressing him down.
You have it.
I understand. I completely understand. I don't have the information at this time. I don't know where it's at, but I can give you a number to contact Chris, and maybe he can give you a little more information about.
So go ahead and give me his number, and I'll call him and explain to him why we can't do the phoner until whoever's doing it has that information.
He might even have the info on him, and he can just go ahead and do it. It's 440-954-5716.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Fuck you, pal.
Fuck you, pal.
You're not doing the interview.
Because I hadn't heard 5 fucking clips. Or Randy hadn't heard 5 fucking clips.
So funny. How great is that?
That is like one of my favorite fucking things I ever kept.
Of course it is.
That is so funny.
What I find funny is that he was recording that thing the entire time.
Oh, yeah, and he didn't delete it. He just left it on my desk. Thank you. I'm so going to use that at some point.
Sure. Wow.
Rockin Randy Trask. I love Randy, man. You know what? I swear to God, man, I can tell 150 stories about Randy. Dude, here, I'll tell a really good one. So one night, you remember how Randy used to love to just bum around with me?
Sure.
Because I had backstage access to all bands.
Yep. I remember specifically how you told the story about, having that meet and greet and CD signing at the record exchange for Pantera.
Yeah.
And how he basically just made himself at home back in the, back in the quote unquote green room and was just like scarfing up all the food and drinking all the beer and just,
Just because he was with me, he thought he could fucking run.
Sure.
Well, dude, this is a funny one. So you remember this band, and this is a fucking obscure band that didn't really do dick.
Okay.
But do you remember this band, Gravity Kills?
Yes, I think I actually have a CD from them.
They were like a bad 9 Inch Nails knockoff band.
Right.
And Randy and I I had to review their show. And Randy and I ended up out to review their show for Scene or Free Time or whatever I was writing for. Maybe it was Music Bottom Line. I don't remember. But when we went out to review the show, Randy just decided to go with me.
Okay.
And, now Gravity Kills could not be further from this guy's fucking base of Motley Crue and Poison.
Sure.
So at some point I had to interview Gravity Kills, right? So I'm in the back, and I'm doing my interview with the singer, the guitar, I don't even remember who the fuck it was. Some douche from Gravity Kills. And I didn't care. For me it was just, let's just knock it out, get it done, whatever. Well, Randy keeps putting his hand up like a schoolboy.
Okay.
Randy's fucking sitting there in the back, okay? And, I'm asking questions of this guy. Like, hey, how'd you end up signed to TVT Records, blah, 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 blah. The bullshit that you ask, right?
Sure.
Randy's sitting in a chair behind me, hand up in the air.
Like he's got to ask a question.
Ooh, Mr. Cotta.
Right.
So the fucking singer keeps going to Randy.
Okay.
He's like, hey, you got a question, bud? Randy keeps coming back with questions of, man, as a singer, me and you, we're the same because I'm a singer too.
Oh, boy.
And he's like, how is it that you keep your voice in shape when you're doing these gigs night after night? Because sometimes my voice goes a little bit funny week after week.
So he's asking singing,
He's asking singing advice. This is when he was in Wicked Heart.
Sure.
Which was, him and that Roger dick that was a fucking tool pack.
Right.
But, oh, my God. And he must have asked 10 questions, and they were all fucking could not have been more wrong.
Right.
For this guy, he's asking the guy from Gravity Kills, about Motley Crue and Poison.
Nice.
And I'm just sitting there looking at Randy like, what the fuck, dude? Fucking Randy. And when we come out of the interview, and Randy looks at me and he goes, that was so fucking cool, man. That guy made me a better singer.
He made him a better singer.
He made him a better singer.
Wow.
Somehow that never translated to the stage, but
sure.
He made him a better singer.
Sure. Nice.
That's some funny shit. I love Randy, man.
So funny.
But, dude, there's a million Randy stories. And I'm sure you have a million Randy stories, too.
Well, did I ever tell you how I met him?
No.
I was at the Odeon.
Yeah.
And I was up in the balcony of the Odeon to see a Raxl show.
Right.
And he just happened to be standing next to me.
Okay.
And, you know, loved Raxl. I think one of their, for a smaller venue band.
Yeah.
At the time, this was the original lineup. You know, this was when they were touring back in the early 90s for their debut record or their Push Comes to Shove.
Okay.
And they were just on fire.
Sure.
And I thought that they were one of the best dynamic small club performing bands out there.
Okay.
And Randy just happened to be standing next to me.
Sure.
And of course, you know, Randy, he's always talks to anybody. And so he starts talking to me, man, this is Raxl. They're just like one of the best bands ever, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, you know, I'm a big fan. Obviously I'm here. And we got to talking and he was just like, yeah, you know, I got my own band. And that's when he started telling me about Wicked Heart and everything. And I told him, I said, well, you know, I host a radio show, the Classic Metal Show. Dude, I listen to that show all the time. You know, you're that guy.
Yeah,
you know, that guy. I always got that. You're that guy. And so we just kind of exchanged numbers. I'm going to call you, dude. I'm going to call you Saturday, you know.
Right.
And that's how I met him. So I met him at the Raxl show at the Odeon.
Well, this is a fun Randy fact. I don't meet you without Randy.
Yeah, I met you at Black Crowes at the Rhodes Arena.
Yeah, because Randy introduced us.
Sure.
You know, Randy was with me hanging out at the... Remember, he was so addicted to that one fucking song. I forget what the song was. It was like No Shame or something. I forget what the song was from the Black Crowes, but that venue was like really small. And it was like maybe 1,000 people.
Yeah, it's just a small arena.
Yeah, and fucking when they played this Virtue or Vice was the song.
Okay.
And when they broke into Virtue or Vice, Randy goes tearing out of the fucking seats. Like he's like jumping over people to tear through the seats to get up in the front. And Randy is he dives into the front and he's like jumping up and down. And fucking Chris Robinson looks at him like, who is this fucking long-haired freak?
Right.
Just didn't want nothing to do with Randy.
Sure.
Dude, there's a million Randy stories, man.
Yeah, he was pretty overzealous when it came to the bands and the music and stuff.
Dude, I took him one time. I love telling Randy stories. I took him one time over to Disc Den because my guy Mike had the Generation Swine record before it came out.
Sure.
And Randy was like in heaven to get this record before it came out, right? So my friend Mike sells him the disc and Randy, being Randy, buys 5 of them. Because Randy's like, I got to have one for the car, and I got to have one for the house, and I got to have 2 or 3 to give away so the people can understand that Motley Crue is still around.
Yeah, they're back.
They're back. So he buys 5 copies of this disc from my friend Mike, right? So we're in the car listening to it, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, this is so fucking bad. He's like, fuck you, man. I'm going to make you walk home if you fucking say that again, man. Don't disrespect the crew.
Right.
And I was like, what? And he's like, you're disrespecting the crew, man. And that's fucking bullshit.
Didn't they come to Cleveland for like a press release or something like that?
Yeah, they did like a CD listening party at the Odeon.
Yeah.
I went to that.
I know you did. Isn't that where you met Tommy Lee?
Yeah, that's where I met Tommy.
Because I wanted to go, but I was working and stuff, and I wanted to go to that, and I remember that happening, and I remember you telling you went to that meet and greet.
Yeah, Tommy was really kind of cool, actually, but dude, I just remember Randy threatening to make me walk home.
Sure.
Because I was disrespecting the crew.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's playing those fucking shitty songs, Afraid and, Rat Like This or whatever.
Glitter and
Yeah, Glitter.
Jeez.
All these fucking terrible songs. And Randy's like, I'm like, dude, this fucking blows. He's like, dude, you're going to fucking walk home. Dude, don't disrespect the crew, man.
Right.
Don't disrespect it. And he was serious as a fucking heart attack. Yeah. He was like, don't disrespect the crew.
Sure. So funny.
Randy. Such a fucking character.
Yeah. And then they came back and what did they play? The CSU Convocation Center?
Yeah, with the spaceship.
Yeah, the spaceship and all that bullshit.
Fucking horrible shit.
Wasn't that just before Tommy went to jail, or was that right after he came out of jail?
Right after he got back from jail, I believe, after he'd beaten Pamela senseless.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, he and now my mic wants to fuck up. All right.
So he I saw that show. I remember that was when the Indians were actually in the playoffs, weren't they?
Right. Yeah, it was. It was right at the same time.
So trying to find parking to go to the CSU Convocation Center was crazy because the Indians were playing a playoff game in town.
Right. So, yeah, you couldn't park anywhere, but then you had that. Then you finally found your way in, and then you had to sit through that fucking suck show. That show sucked.
And then they had that DJ guy on a cherry picker lift.
Right.
Over the crowd.
That was such a bad show.
That was terrible.
Dude, one time I was with Randy. I took Randy. Remember when Kiss first did the fucking reunion shows?
Right.
So I had Randy with me on one of they did two shows in Cleveland. One with I think the band was called Degeneration or something.
Sure.
And then the other was with the Deftones opening. And Randy knew that I had access to Peter Criss because that's when I had interviewed Peter Criss.
Okay.
So Randy just fucking was tagging along with me, and I only had one pass to meet Peter Criss, right? So I go back, and Randy's tagging along with me, and what he's doing is he's like hugging onto my back.
Like he's going to worm his way through. You got the pass, but they're going to let both of you through. Yeah.
So I go walking back, and Randy actually made it through the first line of security.
Right.
But we got to the backstage place, and the fucking guy was like, okay, you're in. And then he fucking pulls Randy off of me and is like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going with him. And he was like, well, you can't come back here. You don't have a pass.
Sure.
How'd you fucking get back here in the first place? He's like, oh, I'm with him. And the guy was like, is he with you? And I was like, he came to the show with me. And the guy was like, no, you can't come back here. And then Randy goes to the fucking security guy. He goes, well, dude, I'm the cameraman. And the guy's like, well, you don't have a fucking camera. And the guy's like, and Randy, I swear to God, without even hesitating, he goes, well, I thought Kiss supplied the camera.
Kiss supplied the camera? Oh, my God.
And the guy was like, fuck you, get out of here.
Sure.
But he really fucking did. He goes, I thought Kiss supplied the camera.
Right. Sure.
Too fucking funny.
Hey, look who popped in the chat room.
Who?
High Volume.
Oh, there we go. Nice. There we go. Hello, Daryl.
So, very nice. Here's another one for what was the story I was going to tell you about Randy trying to get in to meet somebody.
Yeah.
What the heck was it? It just slipped my mind when you were telling that story about how he's trying to piggyback on you,
right,
to get in there. He was trying to get into me. Oh, I know. Here it is. This is I got it. When Tesla was apart.
Yeah.
And Frank Hannon was out doing his own gig with his Moondog Maine.
Yeah, I remember that band.
He came to the Agora.
Right.
And I went to the show, and Randy was hanging out with Frank Hannon.
Right.
He basically, for lack of a better term, bribed his way downstairs because their little green room was downstairs. It was in the basement. He bribed his way into the downstairs because he had weed. So he bought his way downstairs to hang out with Frank Hannon because he had weed.
Right. That's too fucking funny.
So he was able to go down there and ply Frank Hannon with weed.
All right, dude, people are calling for it. I just sent you the number. Call him.
Okay.
Let's see if he answers his phone.
See if he's still awake.
Yeah, I would love to talk to Rockin Randy.
Sure. Let's see. He'll probably think he's like a big celebrity because the classic metal show is calling him.
Well, he's the original co-host.
See if he answers.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Randy. Sorry I can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave me your name, your number, and a brief detailed message, I'll get back with you just as soon as I can.
Sounds like he's high even leaving that message.
Have a nice day.
At the tone, please
I'll leave a
record
message.
your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Randy, it's Chris Aiken. Call this one back, bro. We're telling Randy stories here on the Classic Metal Show tonight, man. Would love to have you come on and tell a few of your own. Rockin Randy Trask. Later, man.
All right, there you go.
Dude, I would love it if he called back.
He sounded like he had just smoked a bowl when he made that message.
Hey, bro. It's me. It's Randy. Gotta admit, I'm a little bit fucking high right now. If you leave your name, number, and whatever the fuck you want,
right,
I might just call you back, if you've got a good blunt.
I heard he wasn't doing that anymore, though.
I don't know. I mean, I talk to Randy every now and again, but I have not really sat down with Randy and partied or anything in a while, so I would love to. I love Randy, man. And that's the funny thing. We're telling all kinds of silly stories, and people are probably thinking that I think he's a fucking douchebag or whatever. I love Randy to death.
Sure.
I mean, I really love Randy, and I love hanging with him, and God damn it, if there was a way to fucking go to a show with Randy again and just fucking hang out, I would do it in a minute.
Right.
He's that kind of fun, man.
Sure.
Dude, this is one I know you've told on the show before, but tell the story of him coming back from Detroit. Just whole story. That's like the greatest story. That's the greatest of all the great Randy stories.
Well, Randy was really hung up on Sebastian Bach.
Yes, he was.
I mean, after the Bret Michaels obsession, then he had the Sebastian Bach obsession, and that picture that we had posted on the Classic Metal Show Facebook about a month ago, of me with Sebastian and Bam Bam McConnell.
Right.
That was taken with Randy and I on the Sebastian tour bus after a show at Alrosa Villa.
Sure.
So he was chasing, for lack of a better term, he was chasing Sebastian Bach around.
Right.
Sebastian was on his Bring 'em Bach Alive tour.
Right.
And Randy was more or less chasing him.
Right.
And he played in, I think he played at the Odeon.
Uh-huh.
And then he played at Alrosa Villa.
He played at the Agora.
Was it the Agora?
Yeah, because remember, then there was the whole controversy of he wouldn't let Billy Morris's band Kid Wicked play.
Right, because of the old band name.
Right, that's the day I met Billy Morris.
Sure.
Yep.
And then they played Alrosa Villa, and he wanted so bad to go, and so he basically talked me into driving down there.
Right.
And let's see, what was it? Was this was, oh, no, what it was is we went to the Alrosa Villa after the Detroit thing because he got to know Sebastian, to where Sebastian recognized him.
Right, sure.
So he went from the Agora to Harpo's in Detroit.
Right.
And somehow Randy made the trip up there to Harpo's, and I don't know how or who or what, but Randy, more or less made his way around to where he got to know Sebastian via the band or the crew or somebody. Right. I don't know. He got access to Sebastian.
Sure.
And during the time, I guess it was Sebastian's birthday.
Yeah. I forgot about this part now.
And Randy was the only one there that had a vehicle that they could drive.
Right.
So his crew sent Randy out on a goose chase to go pick up supplies and stuff and bring back a birthday cake for Sebastian.
Right.
And in exchange for his help, they gave him one of the hotel rooms that the promoter, basically bought for the band.
Right.
And he was able to stay in Detroit overnight at a hotel for free.
Right.
Well, he went to Detroit, and he only had enough gas money to get him there and get him back. But with all the running around and chasing around and doing whatever he had to do, he basically was out of cash.
Right.
So he got about 60 miles south of Detroit to Monroe, Michigan, which is just north of the Ohio border, just north of Detroit, or north of Toledo.
Right.
And the show was on Saturday, it was on a Saturday, and he spent Saturday, the day there, and went to the show that night. And Sunday morning, he headed back home. Right. So I had done the classic metal show, and I always sleep in on Sunday. I usually got home like at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then I'd sleep till like noon on Sunday.
Right, sure.
Well, I'm getting a call. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's him calling me collect from a gas station in Monroe, Michigan.
Right.
And he's like, dude, I'm kind of I got a problem here. And I said, what's the matter? And he says, I'm coming back from Detroit, and I'm out of money, and I'm out of gas, and I can't get back home. And, I go, what do you mean? I said, what are you doing? And he says, I don't have enough money. And I said, dude, you didn't plan for this? And he's just like, they had me running around, and I didn't know how to ask them for any money, and they put me up in a hotel room, and this and that. And so I was wondering, could you give the girl here at the gas station your credit card and get me a tank of gas so I can get home? And I'm just like, all right. I said, put the girl on the phone. So the girl says, yeah. She goes, I can run your credit card. If you give me the number and everything, I can run it and get him some gas. Then he gets back on the phone, and he goes, dude, could you throw like a pop and some chips and stuff on there too? Because I haven't had anything to eat. So could I get a snack too? Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
This is a grown fucking adult male?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. But every fucking story you told, Jesus Christ, he sounds like super fanboy, like the guy that artists and bands go out of their way to avoid.
Sure.
Literally, yes. Just.
Well, it gets to be stalkerish.
Yes. This is why I don't call in favors from Chris. For the simple fact that shit like this, like I'm so afraid of coming off like that, I'll sit in the crowd. If it's offered that I go backstage, whatever, so be it. But I'm never going to ask, Jesus Christ. And then the fucking kissing? Supply their own cameras? What the fuck? What is your major fucking malfunction?
Dude, Randy was a walking story. Every time you did something with Randy, something happened.
And it was by his own fucking volition. It wasn't anyone else's fault.
Dude, there's so many of those stories that isn't even funny.
It must have been hard walking around with his head up his ass all the time. Jesus Christ. All right, well, hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hands up.
So anyway, I got him the gas to get home.
Right.
And he got home, and I'll pay you back, and so on, which he did.
Yeah. Oh, did he pay you back?
Oh yeah.
Good.
It wasn't, I don't know, it was like $25 or something.
Dude, how many shows, and be honest with this, because I know he did this to you as he did it to me. How many shows did he wear laminates that he made for his own band trying to get backstage to other bands.
Just about every show I went to with him.
Every fucking show, he would get back. He would wear his own laminates that all said like Wicked Heart Crew.
Right.
And he would fucking just flash that shit as he was walking by.
Right.
And get through most of the time.
Sure.
It was fucking hysterical.
Well, I have done that myself, dude.
Have you really?
I have. They weren't my own laminates, but they were laminates that I had gotten from other bands.
Right.
And there was this one time over at, this was when Vince Neil, this was the whole Vince Neil thing when Vince Neil was touring solo at the Nautica.
Yeah.
And it was Tesla, Vince Neil, Rat, and Slaughter, I think it was.
Right.
And I had these laminates, and I just had them on.
Okay.
Because I always got them from the bands, but I didn't have any of this for this show.
Sure.
I was walking up to the gate, and the guy just pulled the gate open and just let me walk through. He didn't even look. He didn't ask. Nothing. I just was wearing these laminates. I was wearing my, you know how I dress when I go to shows. And
the guy like in a band.
And the guy just pulled the gate open and let me walk through.
Nice.
Not a problem. Didn't even check. Nothing.
Too funny, dude.
Yeah. So it does work periodically. So anyway, getting back to Randy.
Yeah, I think we could tell stories all night.
Well, there's more to the Sebastian story.
Oh, go ahead.
So he, got to know Sebastian at the Detroit show, and then he was playing down at the Alrosa Villa, and he talked me into going, and that's how we ended up on the Sebastian bus.
Right.
So that's how I got that picture that you posted on Facebook, a few weeks ago.
Sure.
Well, then Sebastian was playing in, I think, like Tennessee. I think he was playing in like Nashville or something.
Okay.
So Randy drove all the way down there.
To Tennessee?
To Tennessee. He drove 500 miles to Tennessee. And the thing is that Randy had gotten a laminate from Sebastian Bach's crew.
Right.
And they let him keep it.
Right.
And he drove all the way down to Tennessee and went to the show and let himself in with the laminate.
Right.
And after the show or during the show or something, I think it was after, he just made his way back there.
Nice.
And they were like, "What are you doing here?" And he was just like, "Well, dude, I thought I would just come hang with you, They took his laminate away. And they told him to go.
Go home, pal.
Right. And that was the end of the Sebastian Bach. He was so deflated from that right. I asked him, how was the trip? Where'd you do? I don't,
I'm done with that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, So then I finally got him out of it. I got it out of him what happened.
Nice. Randy. Dude, what's funny is we could do 6 hours just telling Randy stories. Don't you think?
Well, I think one of the biggest, or one of those surprising crowning achievements, if you will, is the fact that Chuck Klosterman wrote that whole segment on him.
Yeah, in the New York Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look up Randy Trask New York Times, you'll find an article that Chuck Klosterman wrote about him in his tribute band.
Right, and I think Chuck actually rode with him in his little pickup truck to a show in like Virginia or something like that.
It's funny.
I was shocked. I picked it up online one day, and I was just like reading this, and it goes, yeah, one true rock and roller, he breathes and lives rock and roll is the one Randy Trask, and,
right,
paying tribute to Axl Rose, and, he was given this whole rundown. I was just like, holy smoke. It's in a book.
Yeah, it's in a book. But it's out there online, too, if people want to look it up. But...
Yeah, it's crazy. So look up Randy Trask, Chuck Klosterman, not Kolsterman, like the douchebags say.
Right. Dude, do you remember when he went all the way to South Carolina to fucking see John Corabi?
That he did.
He drove all the way to South Carolina for John Corabi.
Right.
And didn't Corabi not let him in?
Yeah, that was another one where he got denied.
He drove all the way from here to South Carolina. It's like 800 fucking miles.
Right.
And then he got there and they were like, no, buy a ticket, fuck.
Right. see, that's the thing. One thing Randy failed to understand is that when you have a backstage pass or a meet and greet or whatever, they're there to be nice to you at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean you're lifelong bros and you can just show up at any show and they'll just be nice to you everywhere you go. Right. You become a stalker.
Yeah, then you become annoying.
Yeah.
Right.
So
too funny.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't expected, but this was a good fucking...
Yeah, it's just funny. Just our friends who are just so overzealous.
Hell yeah. I'd love to tell one that I know, and I don't want to say her name, but involved Jamie St. James. You know who I'm talking about?
I'm thinking.
In St. Louis?
Oh, yeah.
Can we tell that or no?
I don't think... Well, if we don't tell names, I don't think if we name names that we could probably tell the story.
All right, why don't you tell that story, but just we'll call her Joan.
Okay, Joan.
All right, we'll go with Joan.
Well, we had a friend.
We still do. She's still a friend of mine.
True, and she's a friend of mine too.
Yeah.
And we'll call her Joan.
Yeah.
She too was another overzealous rocker.
Right.
Overzealous.
Way over the top.
And getting back to Jamie St. James, and I'll have to do the backstory on this.
Okay.
Dokken was playing the World Series of Metal.
Right, I remember that.
Your friend Mitch Karshevsky made them the closing night or the headliner of the World Series of Metal, which ran from Friday to Sunday.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, and there's a theater in Cleveland, the Agora, and they would do this for 3 days of metal. It was the World Series of Metal. And Dokken was the headliner on Sunday night.
Right.
And they had just come in from the Bang Your Head Festival. They just flew in. They flew directly from Germany to Cleveland to play this thing.
Right.
Well, me and long-haired Mike, one of the other former CMS co-hosts,
sure,
were at the Agora, and we're just kind of hanging out and whatever. And he says to me, "Look at that guy over there.
Okay.
Doesn't he look like Jamie St. James?"
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, he looks a lot like him." He goes, "I'm going to go over and talk to him. I'll find out." So I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, aren't you Jamie St. James?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And I'm just like, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "I live here now."
Nice.
And I was like, "What are you doing in Cleveland?" And he's just like, I'm building a dog kennel, boarding dogs out, east of here. And
sure,
Don's an old friend of mine. I just thought I'd come out to the show and, so on and so forth. So without getting into all this detail, I got to be good friends with Jamie. Still am today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this friend of ours, Joan,
yeah,
she was a huge classic metal show fan.
Big fan.
So I had Jamie come down to the studio a couple of times since he was just in town and local, and I had written a big write-up on him for Music's Bottom Line as well.
Right, sure.
And she's just like, "You think you could introduce me to Jamie?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I guess so,
Sure.
So Jamie would be out and about to different clubs and stuff, and after meeting me and, being on the Classic Metal Show and talking about his music career, because he was completely out of music at this time.
Yeah, he was painting and doing dogs and shit, right?
Right. So I said, you really ought to think about getting back into the music scene. You really should.
Right.
So he was just like, "Well, what do you think?" And he says, "I'm thinking I'd like to do something kind of retro, kind of 70s glam, kind of like T-Rex, the Mata Hoople, stuff like that."
Sure.
So I had, known Billy Morris and his cousin.
Yeah.
Different people. I introduced him to some people, and Billy basically took the ball and ran with it and introduced him to a bunch of musician-type people around Cleveland.
Right.
And they got together with him, and they formed a band.
Yep, called St. James.
Well, prior to calling it St. James, they called it the Glorious Things.
That's right. That is right. Yeah.
And they played one of the first well, in fact, they did play the first classic metal show night out that I ever hosted.
Yeah.
At Ron's Crossroads, and that was the week of 9/11.
Yeah. If you want, keep telling the story, and I'll take a picture of the poster and I'll put it on Facebook here in 1 second.
Okay.
Because I literally have it on my wall. I'm going to set this down, but you keep telling the story.
Okay, so I did this classic metal show night out at a little club in Akron called Ron's Crossroads, and Jamie and his Glorious Things basically debuted there. And they were doing kind of like, early 70s style music, but it was all original material. And, Joan, we'll call her Joan, came out to the show, and I introduced her to Jamie and so on and so forth. Well, she was so hell-bent on being a part of the rock and roll scene that she talked him into allowing her to be his quote-unquote manager.
Right.
And so, she went at it with a lot of gusto, calling clubs and getting things booked and so on and so forth. And she ended up getting them, kind of a Midwest tour.
Right. I remember that.
She booked them at some clubs in Chicago and St. Louis and, Ohio and Indiana or Illinois, just different places around the Midwest. So, in order to do this, they didn't have a lot of money, so they had to do this, grassroots, and somehow somebody had a like a motor home,
right,
like a Winnebago type thing, and that was their tour bus more or less, and they went to these shows and they took this Winnebago and whatever, so they played some show. I think it was called a place called Pops in Granite City, Illinois, which is just basically a suburb on the other side of the river in Illinois from St. Louis.
Right. Posters up, by the way.
Oh, okay. And Jamie, at the time, he was kind of hitting the bottle pretty heavy.
Right.
And, he got cleaned up after that, and he doesn't do that anymore. But at that time, he was still kind of, sucking back the sauce pretty good.
Right, sure.
Well, somehow, some way, after the gig was over, everybody was drinking and carrying on. I wasn't there. I got this, I've heard this story from two different people, and it was pretty close to the same story from the two different people I heard it from. She got into it with somebody in the band. I'm not really sure who it was. But after the show was over, Jamie basically passed out on the bed in the Winnebago.
Right.
He was passed out cold. She got into it with somebody in the band. I don't know what the argument was or disagreement was or whatever. And she basically refused to get on the Winnebago because of the dispute.
Right.
So they just left her there. So here she is, just left by herself, no money, no way of getting home, no transportation, and the band just basically took off and just left her.
Right.
So by the time they had already traveled across Illinois into Indiana and, into Ohio on their way home, and Jamie finally came to, she's like calling him and telling him, hey, I'm still here in St. Louis. The band just left me.
Right.
So he basically had to buy her a ticket and fly her home.
Right.
So needless to say, that was the end of that.
That was the end of that one. I remember that. So bad.
It was horrible.
All these stories are bad, dude. We have so many of them.
Well, everybody just wants to be involved.
Yeah, they do.
And they just lose their minds over it.
Yep, they sure do.
And it's just like, this thing, this business, this rock and roll thing, it's not that glamorous.
It's really not. It looks it on TV, but it's really not.
Yeah, and you and I have been doing this radio thing for a long time, and
right.
You and I, we don't lose our head over that.
No, we're not starstruck. We don't care. It's like, we certainly enjoy people. We enjoy knowing some people and whatnot, and we've gotten past the rock star thing to know people. But yeah, I mean, the rock star part of it, couldn't give a flying fuck. Not at all.
No. So, you and I, we've had some not so excellent experiences, but not to the point to where it put us at a point to where we're helpless.
No, never would let that happen. No.
So it's a business. It's not, and these people aren't the nicest people in the world.
No, they're just other guys. They're like everybody else.
They're out there just making a living.
Right. That's it.
And the expectation that they're just going to be your bud and they're going to be friendly and they're going to be, this and that to you. That's not the case. It's just like, okay, I was nice to you at a show because you had a meet and greet pass.
Yeah, that's my job.
That's where it ends.
Right. That's my job. Once I shook your hand, now I don't give a fuck about you.
Right. I took a picture with you. I shook your hand. I gave you a couple autographs. Now be on your way.
Scram.
He was my pal, man.
Dude, what happened? I thought I was in with Sebastian.
Right.
All right, dude. If you don't take a break right now, I am going to fucking have to piss all over my floor.
Well, we can do that. Well, since Randy was in a GNR cover band, or tribute band, rather.
Yeah.
Thought I'd play some GNR.
Dude, how about playing all of Roller Coaster?
Nah, I don't want to drive everybody away.
Dude, come on. It's Randy. We just beat him up for an hour. The least we can do is give him 3 minutes.
Nah.
All right, nah, fuck it. I wouldn't either.
Nah.
I
thought maybe I'd play let's play
Shackler's Revenge?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's play Dead Horse.
All right, since we just did beat a dead.
That's kind of where I was going with that. I'm glad you picked that up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, from the Use Your Illusion 1 release, it's Guns N' Roses with Dead Horse. We'll be back.
All right, on your Classic Metal Show.